Two global economic giants one continent apart, USA versus South Korea. Which one really delivers? On the left, the USA, the world's largest economy driven by diverse sectors. And on the right, South Korea, a tech powerhouse whose export-driven approach rewrote the rulebook. Let's skip the buzzwords and get to the real numbers. We'll score each category so by the end you'll know exactly who comes out on top. The results might just surprise you. Alright, here's how we're mapping out our battle today. We'll look at 2025 economic growth, then trade performance, industrial sectors, investment and capital, government policy response, economic risks, and finally, long-term prospects. Yeah, it's a pretty loaded lineup, so let's get started. Okay, up first, 2025 economic growth. Starting with the USA, we've got a projected 1.8% growth according to the latest IMF revision. That's actually not bad, and there's talk of a strong rebound in Q2 2025 thanks to that super diverse economic base. Of course, it's not all unicorns. They're up against some seriously high federal deficit pressures, and that rising cost of debt is, honestly, a red flag. Now, South Korea, they managed to beat expectations for their Q2 recovery, popping up 0.6%, and exports are holding strong even with all the new tariffs. But their overall growth forecast, only 0.9%, kind of underwhelming, and yeah, that's the weakest among the major developed economies right now. Plus, aging demographics and shrinking population make things complicated. So in this round, the USA comes out ahead, but both are definitely feeling some heat. Moving on to trade performance. The US is, no surprise, a powerhouse when it comes to global trade with a really diverse range of partners. And it's a big but that trade deficit is huge, like $59.6 billion just in August 2025. Not exactly something you brag about, and they're pretty dependent on imports in some sectors. Now, South Korea's story is all about exports. In just the first half of 2025, they held steady with $334.7 billion in exports, which is wild given the global tariff drama. Plus, they've got a current account surplus at 5.3% of GDP. But it's not all roses. They really lean on exports for growth, making them super sensitive to global trade hiccups, especially anything brewing between the US and China. Still, for sheer trade performance and holding steady despite rough waters, I've gotta give it to South Korea. Let's get into industrial sectors. The US in 2025, still incredibly diversified, think tech, finance, energy, the list goes on. They've also got a monster service sector and a manufacturing base that, while not as shiny as it used to be, is still formidable. That said, manufacturing competitiveness is slipping and those federal spending cuts are kind of a party pooper. South Korea, though, they own the space in semiconductors and electronics. Seriously, they're the ones to beat. Throw in a world-class automotive sector and a big push into AI investments, and you can see why folks are excited. The downside? Tariffs are looming, especially on semiconductors, and their auto exports are up against steep 15% reciprocal rates. They also rely heavily on the US market. Still, South Korea's industrial edge, especially in tech, puts them in front here. Oh, and here's something cool most people don't know. South Korea has committed to investing $350 billion, yeah, that's about 20% of their own GDP, right into the US economy as part of their 2025 tariff deal. Meanwhile, the US, for all its trade power, is still running a $59.6 billion monthly trade deficit. Wild, right? Next up, investment and capital. The US is honestly hard to beat. They just attract foreign investments like a magnet, investor confidence is solid, and their capital markets run deep. Sure, treasury yields are making things expensive and they just got hit with a Moody's downgrade. But compared to pretty much anyone else, it's still a safe bet. South Korea is making big waves too, especially with that $350 billion US investment package and some pretty savvy tech bets. But domestic investment is kind of shaky, currency pressure on the one and some capital flight risks too. So in this round, the US clearly takes the crown. On to government policy response. How are these countries steering their ships? The US technically has a bit more wiggle room with federal spending and all kinds of policy levers, but the current administration is cutting agency budgets and really trying to slash their infamous twin deficits. And let's not forget the uncertainty from tariff policies makes decision-making kind of a headache. Switching to South Korea, the Lee administration is not holding back. Stimulus measures are out, universal consumption vouchers are pretty innovative, and the Bank of Korea's recent rate cut now at 2.5% is bold. Add in an AI focus and you can see they're playing hard for future growth. Political instability and outside tariff shocks are still risks, but compared to the US right now, South Korea is trying more new things. So Korea edges ahead on this one. Now let's talk economic risks, because let's face it, the bigger the numbers, the bigger the risks. The US actually has some insulation simply because their economy is so massive and well diversified. But the federal deficit's just massive, honestly almost a crisis in waiting, especially with those debt payments growing. For South Korea, things are a little more transparent on the tariff side, and they do have a decent trade deal framework, but they're definitely not out of the woods. Slowdown in China, US tariffs only just starting to bite, and systemic headwinds are all there. This time, South Korea actually has slightly less risk short-term, even if the outlook is still fragile. But let's be real, both countries have their hands full. Alright, wrapping up with long-term prospects. The US, even with all its messiness, huge deficits, political drama, all that, actually has a strong hand in shaping its own future. They're able to manage structural deficits, still build those key alliances, and keep innovating. The downside? They're weirdly dependent on foreign capital to fill the savings gap, and let's not understate how much politics can shake things up. South Korea's got reasons for hope. 2026 growth could be up to 1.8%. They absolutely rule in the tech sector and their long-term strategy is sharp. But declining domestic investment, a shrinking workforce, and an ancient export model are hurdles. In the bigger picture, the US is in a better spot to shape its future, at least for now. Let's step back for a second and look at the radar chart, visualizing all those strengths and weaknesses side by side. It's pretty clear. The US dominates in overall growth, capital, and long-term prospects, while South Korea takes the win on trade, industrial leadership, government action, and handling immediate risk. If I had to sum it up, the US brings size, flexibility, and resilience to the table with a decent growth rate and the ability to weather storms. But those structural deficits and policy swings are real headaches. South Korea, meanwhile, is all about resilience too, especially in tech, even if their growth has lost some steam and those long-term demographic trends are rough. It kind of feels like the US is set for a short, sharp comeback, but South Korea has set itself up for future tech dominance if it can steer through the trade war drama. Economic data last updated, December 3, 2025. For all you fact-checkers out there, sources include the IMF, Bank of Korea, US Census Bureau, and the Conference Board. Stay tuned and let me know in the comments which country you think has the best shot going forward.